Oh, no.
Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins.
And I'm Gus Sorola.
Looks like the Darksiders team's getting back together, thanks to a leak and then an official announcement from IGN. We've learned that Darksiders 3 is currently in development for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and will release sometime next year.
And the game is being made by a bunch of the team who were originally involved in the first two Darksiders. Their studio, Vigil Games, shut down in 2013, but many of the gang has since reformed as a new studio here in beautiful Austin, Texas.
You should come for RTX, and then you can go bother them.
Beautiful. Don't bother them. They're busy. And they've apparently been hard at work on the new game.
News of the game first leaked overnight when an Amazon listing showed a bunch of screenshots and a pretty detailed description of the game.
Oops. According to that description, the game is an open-ended, living freeform game where you play as Fury, a mage who must rely on her whip and magic to restore the balance between good and evil on Earth.
I always rely on my whip.
Yes. You gonna ghost ride that whip? Your goal is to defeat the 7 deadly sins and their evil servants.
The Amazon listing also said that you'll be able to use your magic to assume various forms, which gives you new weapons, moves, and travel abilities, and the game's art includes expansive post-apocalyptic environments that take the player from the heights of heaven to the depths of hell, dilapidated by war and decay and overrun by nature. I hate it when nature overruns things.
Nature always overrunning everything. Then a few hours after that leak surfaced, IGN posted an exclusive trailer of the game along with an official announcement, and they probably posted it while banging on their computers in a blind rage over Amazon ruining their precious scoop.
But thanks to IGN, we learned even more about the game. It'll be an open world action adventure. It's going to focus on exploration and environmental puzzles, and IGN says it'll have the hack and slash combat that's the hallmark of the series, so not a huge surprise there, but good to have confirmed that that's making a return. The new game will be set around the same time as the events of Darksiders 2 and will follow Fury as she tries to destroy unique physical versions of the 7 deadly sins.
As we said, the game will be made by a lot of the original team behind Darksiders 1 and 2. You might remember that the studio that made the first two games was known as Vigil Games. Vigil was acquired by THQ in 2006, and the studio eventually went under after THQ collapsed in 2013.
RIP. Meanwhile, the Darksiders property was purchased by an Austrian developer called Nordic Games, which eventually changed its name to THQ Nordic, and a lot of the ex-Vigil Games employees went on to found Gunfire Games.
Since Gunfire was formed in 2014, they've worked on stuff like Darksiders 2, Definitive Edition, which is so easy to say, and Chronos, a very well-received VR game, and apparently this whole time they've kept the Darksiders flame alive.
Now, this isn't the first time the work has begun on a third Darksiders, though, so let's just take any hype down one notch, maybe not all the notches, but one notch. The third entry had been in development at the original Vigil Studios, and that version apparently was going to have playable versions of all 4 of Darksiders' Horsemen of the Apocalypse. After Vigil went out of business, though, lots of people thought it was also the end of Darksiders. But creative director Joe Madureira renewed hopes for the franchise in 2014. When answering questions from his fans on Facebook, he wrote that Darksiders is not dead. The new owner, Nordic, seems very committed to continuing the series.
And it looks like that has finally become a reality. The new game was announced by both THQ Nordic and Gunfire, and IGN says its development team includes a bunch of ex-Vigil employees who worked on the first two Darksiders, including the game director, executive producer, technical director, lead environment artist, and more.
Lars Winchfor, a co-founder of THQ Nordic, said, after countless rumors, a major catalog acquisition, and even a corporate rebrand, the team at THQ Nordic is thrilled to finally confirm plans for Darksiders 3.
If you didn't play the first two Darksiders, they released in 2010 and 2012, and the first one was re-released for current-gen consoles this year. Both were well-received action games in which you played as one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. In the first Darksiders, you played as War, and in Darksiders 2, you took control of Death.
The games used a lot of puzzle elements, and both were open world with a terrain that you could explore with your horse and take part in main and side quests. They also have the tradition of using well-known voice actors, including Mark Hamill, who was the English voice actor of The Watcher in the first two games.
In the trailer for Darksiders 3, we see Fury being asked by a group of mysterious beings called the Charred Council to hunt down and destroy the 7 deadly sins, who have apparently escaped their prison and are rampaging across Earth. Then we see her greeting a chained-up War, who she calls brother. Oh, and there's some footage of her using a spiked whip to behead a giant monster. It all looked cool and heavenly swordy, remember that?
Yeah, very heavenly swordy.
A good thing. And based on the art, Fury's weapons might include more than just a whip. She's got something strapped to her back that could be a circular blade. And another piece of art, she's holding some sort of two-handed weapon.
I'm hoping for a chakram, because I'll never give up on Sita. That's all we know at this point about Darksiders 3. For fans of the first two games, definitely super happy news, pretty awesome, especially that the old team is behind it, which means hopefully it will feel a lot like Darksiders as opposed to a lot of franchises when they move developers. There's something that changes there that's like something really visceral, but it's difficult to explain. But what do you guys think of the trailer for the new Darksiders game? Does it get your interest? Would you pick it up? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your Darksiders 3 news, be sure to like this video and subscribe to The Know. You stole my read.
Sorry.
Stole my paragraph.
Whoops.
I'm gonna storm out of here.
My bad.
I'm gonna go pre-order Darksiders. No, wait, I'm not pre-ordering. I'm gonna go look at the listing for Darksiders 3 right now.
I'm gonna go emailing them and ask to visit. Let's do visiting RTX. No, pay no attention to the summer.
It's confusing.
Like this.
Yeah.